Hello and welcome to Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver, and joining me today is none other than the untamed assassin of the professional wrestling world. It is the man, the myth, the legend, the one that was trained by Ricky Morton himself, Jeff Klepper. Jeff, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, man. First of all, it's Klepper, not Kepler.
I
That's one of the
apologize.
first things that happens is people get my name wrong. So
I do apologize. Now, Jeff, we have got a lot to talk about. Let's start way back at the beginning. Let's start how you got into professional wrestling. I mentioned it earlier. You were trained with Ricky Morton, but let's talk about the journey, how you got there, what happened to you, and what made you want to be a professional wrestler.
I pretty much had the same childhood a lot of guys did that got into wrestling. I watched wrestling consistently. I'm 43 years old, so I was watching the great wrestling. In the 80s, I was watching Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, NWA, and then of course it became WCW. And when I was a kid, what I would do is I would actually, get couch cushions and things and start wrestling and beating them up and acting. But it wasn't like just hitting them. It was acting like I was doing the moves, like body slams and things like that. And about 18 years old, I was working at a place, and I told people I worked with, I said, you know what, I'm going to be a wrestler. And so I started researching it, and I found Boogie School. And unfortunately, I didn't have the money at 18 to go to school. And me being me, I couldn't wait. Once I met my wife, or my future wife, I couldn't wait to get married, so within a month and a half of getting together, we got married. And at that point, I definitely didn't have the money to put into wrestling. So I continued to watch wrestling, absolutely loved it, it was a huge fan. And at one point, I started working at Walmart. And while I was working there, my buddy, he started wrestling. And I went to see him in a show, a local independent show. And I said, hey, man, how do I get into this? I had a blast. How do I get into this? And so the guy told me, he said, come set up the ring and we'll train you. So I went, I helped set up the ring, and they trained me. But I was very impatient and kind of jumped out from under the training and went and done my own thing. Ended up getting myself hurt. And a lot of guys, even today, are question how I wrestle, because those early days when I was horrible, no psychology. I was trying to be the next, I watched ROH and was trying to emulate it. About 4 years in, I decided, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it correctly. So about that time, the School of Morton opened up. At that time, which is it was School of Morton, and I joined up and have been with them since almost the beginning. I wasn't there in the beginning. Ricky Dooley, of course, he started right off the bat, but not month and a half, couple months after they got started, I was there, and have been there ever since. So, like I said, I decided if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. When I got in, I was 130 or probably 145, 150 pounds soaking wet. And that's kind of why I started bulking up as well. I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So I went to the gym, started working out. Now I'm 220. So.
Well, and you mentioned something important. You didn't give up. That's the biggest thing, is you had an option there in the beginning. Once you got hurt, you could have gave it all up. You could have let it go. You could have been done with wrestling and said, that's not for me. But you fought through the injuries, you fought through the pain, you fought through everything that happened, and you overcame it. And I think that that's something that a lot of kids that are getting into the business, you have to be able to overcome certain things that happen and come in your way. And Jeff, to be honest with you, if you wouldn't have done that, you wouldn't be the man you are today. So I see the improvement that has happened for you, and then just trying to better yourself every day. What can you say about that? Bettering yourself every day.
So, that's my key. That's my goal. Like I said earlier, I'm 43, so I'm probably not shooting for WWE, if you will. But my goal is to be a reliable wrestler that people around the area want to call, and if they want a good match, they call me in, or they'll call me and bring me in. Just got my license for I've got my license now for Kentucky, Virginia, and South Carolina. I'm starting to get booked in those places quite a bit, so and that's pretty much the thing. If because of my past, and how I was in the beginning and not given a second shot, to see how I am now. If Tennessee doesn't want me, I'm gonna branch out. I'm gonna go to other places, So, but I try to better myself. I go to the gym. I work out as often as I can. And I'm constantly working on, trying to better my gear, trying to better everything that I have, man. So.
Well, and you mentioned something very important there. You mentioned that you got licensed in other states. And I don't think that there's a lot of young kids that realize that they can work in more than one territory if they're willing to put the money into it and they're willing to get their license and go through the athletic commissions and do it the right way. Some of them require blood, alcohol testing, drug testing. Some of them just require you to just simply apply and get your license directly. And you've been through that here recently. You've gotten recently, like you said, with Kentucky, you just recently got your Kentucky license and you're looking to work out there. Is there a major promotion in Kentucky you want to work for?
So I've already worked for Appalachian Mountain Wrestling. And that was one of my big goals when I first got my Kentucky license. Kyle Maggard's an excellent promoter. And so I wanted to work for him, and I went up. Actually, the day after I got my license, I went up to his show, and I'll also be there this Thursday. I'll be wrestling for him as well. So Appalachian Mountain is one of the big ones. Also, UCW with Terry England. Been talking to him as well. And I mean, not gonna lie, having a Kentucky license, I wouldn't mind doing at least one match for OVW. Just to, if nothing else, to say that I've been there. I had goals, and that was one of those goals. So
I think that's a very honorable goal to have. And I think that that's very obtainable, especially at this point in time in your career. I know that Ohio Valley is constantly looking for talent. They're constantly looking for people. And the bookers, thank God they've got some good bookers and good promoters inside the area with Al Snow and the Bucklands. I mean, they've really got a really good portray out there. And I know that they're looking for talent currently. So I think that you can attain that goal in the future. And I wish you the best of luck on that. Now, Jeff, moving forward from whenever you first started training to moving to where it was SOM, the School of Morton, what was the difference from day one to School of Morton and where you are now?
So when I first got there, Ricky Morton was hands-on because, obviously he stays busy, very busy now because of, NWA and all the bookings and things with them. But then he had more time. So he was there at the school at least once a week. So was Chase Owens. He was there as well before he started doing his Japan tours. So, it was different. But on the same note, as far as now at Smoky Mountain Pro, I mean, we're continuing forward. We're still running shows, and we've got two trainers that are just, great people. Kenzie Page, the NWA World Women's Heavyweight Champion, is the head trainer, and then Casey Kazana, who was until last week the U.S. Tag Team Champ. But of course, I think the sky's the limit for them anyway. So I think they're, but both of them are in NWA, and they're the ones that are training now. So it's still good training, I do believe. So and I still I love it. I have a blast when I'm there. Unfortunately, as you guys saw about a month ago, I went through a loss against Uncle Slam, and I don't know as far as Smoky Mountain Pro goes. I don't know what the future holds. I've been just thinking about some things. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go back to kind of answer Tyler's question. I'm just not sure. I got to figure out who I am before I go back. So,
Well, would one of your former partners, Richard Dulay, let's say it like that, would he approve of you taking this time off to figure out who you are?
honestly, I don't know. Really, he and I have been up and down the roads. Like I said, he was one of the first people there. So, he, for 12 years now, we've been in the ring against each other. So, I may not have liked the guy. We've had our brawls and things, but I do respect him. So, but as far as whether he would approve, I really don't care who would approve. I'm just I'm at that place where I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do as far as Smoky Mountain Pro going forward. So.
Well, we have a man who's here who just came on the line that wants to come in and talk just a little bit with you and about this. Would you be willing to have him on? It's Mr. TKO.
Yeah, absolutely. I know TKO what he's going through and everything. So yeah, absolutely.
Here he is, Josh Turner. Thank you for coming in, Mr. TKO.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I just wanted to hop on here as a surprise for Jeff and be like, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff can't go anywhere. Why? Because there's two of us now. I finally look like Jeff. I have completed the full circle.
Wow.
I look like Jeff. The only difference is I got a man beard.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like mine the way it is, but I'm glad to see you in good spirits, man.
I just wanted to hop on here, and I want to tell everybody, if you're not watching this, you're nuts. You need to be on here. You need to be watching. And I think I have a great idea for Jeff. Now that we look alike, maybe he starts showing off the little less of those legs, puts some shorts on, and he slaps TK Maxx in the face. Because I heard there's one man in East Tennessee history that has bumped TK Maxx off one punch. I'm not going to say who that man is.
Right.
But there's a one man who knocked him with one punch.
That is a rumor.
I don't want to take too much of his time. I just wanted to come in here. Joseph, I wanted to tell you personally, face to face, how much I love you, man. How much you mean to me. Jeff, I wanted to hop on here and I wanted to tell you personally, I'm going to pull back the curtain. I'm going to expose the little things because I'm a rule breaker if anybody hasn't caught that yet. And if I don't offend somebody, what have I done, right?
That's true.
I wanted to let everybody know, like, a moment between me and Jeff, because there's a lot of people who think we don't like each other, and we do have some funny stories to where it almost adds up.
Yeah.
But there's a moment where Jeff, and I won't say what show or anything, but it was a very big show where Jeff's doing exactly what he's doing right now and questioned himself. And I remember looking this man in the eyes, and I remember telling him, don't know if he remembers. I don't remember a lot right now. I'm lucky to remember my name's not Donald Duck or Casey Kazana by the book, which is terrible. But I remember looking at Jeff and telling him, no, you have to do this. You have to be out there. You have to continue. You have to fight. And Jeff looked at me and he goes, you're right. And he went out there and he did the thing, and he did it just as good, if not better, than anybody else. So, Jeff, we know who you are. Now you got to know who you are. Fight it, win it, get gold back around that waist so I can come back and take it from you.
There you go.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, brother. Hey, same thing for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Fight. We're all with you. We're all praying for you. Tomorrow, right? This is a surgery.
Tomorrow at 7 a.m. Right. So it's It's been a very weird day. Happy birthday to my son Ty. He turned 16 today. It's been a very weird day. I've been an emotional roller coaster. I'm not going to cry. I promise I'm not going to cry. Now that I said that, I'm probably going to cry. Then, Jeff, I have something to hold over me and be like, you're the crier now.
No, you got a reason, brother. Trust me.
But I just wanted to come on here and tell you how much I love you, Joseph. Jeff, all kidding, all joking aside, I wanted to come on here and tell you personally, like, it's a scary situation going in tomorrow because I'm going into, it's been just a hill of downhill news that I won't say publicly because this isn't my time. This is about Jeff. And this is Jeff's thing, and I'm not turning it into me. I came on here to tell Jeff, I love you, brother. We've known each other for, we
12
actually met, yeah, we met through Rain Rodriguez.
Well, yeah, no, longer than 12 years. It's been about 14 now.
Like, I've known this guy for so long, and I just wanted to hop on here and tell both of you guys, bottom of my heart, the two of you, and something that people don't know, love you too, Tyler, is Jeff is one of the many few, and he was actually one of the first who has just nonstop reached out to me. Are you okay? Are you okay? You know I'm praying for you. You know you're not fighting this alone.
Yeah.
We're here for you, but most importantly, you got God fighting for you. And I wanted to tell you how much that meant to me. And I didn't want to do that in message. I felt like we've known each other long enough, over a decade, that I wanted to give you that respect face to face to tell you guys how much I love you. Now get back to talking about Jeff and make sure you mention how his right nipple is 2/3 of a centimeter higher than his left nipple. On that note, peace out.
Bye, buddy.
Oh,
See,
he's
he always
crazy.
brings something to the table, and you know,
He
like you
does.
said, he's trying to make somebody mad or he makes somebody happy, and that's one of the reasons why you can't quit, Jeff. That's exactly why you can't quit, is because if you quit now, what you have gained, you lose. You lose everything about it, and so you might be questioning yourself if you can still go on, if you can still do this, if you still have it in you, and especially after a loss like you took, that does hurt your pride a little bit. But you know what? If you don't ever get back up on the horse, you never will. So I encourage you to let this be a stepping stone, a learning opportunity for you to go and get more gold wherever you're going to go in the future.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, I'm not quitting. I'm definitely not quitting the business. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love professional wrestling. Just having to figure some things out at Smoky Mountain Pro. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Is just figuring out what I want to do as far as that goes. Have I hit my time? You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's time for me to ride away for a while and maybe come back some other time. Let some of the other guys have it. So I'm just, it's something I'm thinking about, praying about. We'll see what happens, in the future. But as of right now, we're just debate and see, figuring out some things. So.
Well, Jeff, we know a lot of things happen privately that we can't really talk about and get into fully with Smoky Mountain Pro. Of course, they had a rebranding. They had some stuff that took place there that we all know about, but we can't let the cat out of the bag yet. Do you think that they're going to come back stronger, better, and be more efficient in the future?
The thing about Smoky Mountain Pro is there are, you may hear people talk or what have you, but the thing about those shows, Mayhem and Legacy both, is there are great rosters on both sides. We've got guys like Casey Kazana, TKO when he was healthy, Ryan Mantis. Thank you, Tyler. We've got guys like Ricky Dooley, who's been there since the beginning, RT3, so it's not like we don't have they don't have a talented roster, and I mean, I've just seen that August 3rd, they're bringing in, of course, I'm still sharing this stuff. because, that's one thing that I've started doing more recently is sharing more and more of people's stuff, even if I'm not on the show, just, because I want to help out independent wrestling, because that's, the bigger independent wrestling gets, the better chance I have of getting booked. But I did just see that August 3rd, they're going to be bringing in Matt Riddle, for that show. And that should be, an amazing day as well. So I think that, I think that if the roster, if they perform to the best that they can and everything keeps going, I think they'll be fine. I think that Smoky Mountain Pro is going to continue to grow. And I think that, this new location and everything, I mean, like the whole thing as far as changing from rebranding and everything, I'm not gonna say that it didn't hurt or anything, because I learned a ton from I learned a ton from Ricky Morton, so it did bother me, but at the same time, I do also know that I can get a hold of him if I need him, and he'll still answer. I've texted him a couple times, since everything. And, if I need advice or if I see him at a show, he'll talk to me, but I think Smoky Mountain Pro is going to be fine. So
I've reached out to Ricky Morton, and I've talked to him, and I've given him my word that I wouldn't go public with everything that's gone on. And I've spoke to him very much. I know that he was hurt. He was hurt real bad over some of the stuff that happened. And I also know that there's three sides to every story. There's his side, her side, and the truth. And sometimes you just have to decipher what's really the truth in those situations. And it's like you said, if I need advice or I need to reach out or I need something, I know I can call Ricky Morton anytime and that he can get in touch with me, or I can message him on Facebook or message Carrie on Facebook and they can message me back, and we can talk and have a good relationship that way. And it doesn't deter whether I'm going to do business or not with somebody. And I think that that's the thing that we have lost inside this shuffle when stuff like this happens in professional wrestling. And it happens, it's a dime a dozen every week. Promotions change. They change branding, people fall out with other people, and you lose different things. And it happens all the time. But you got to remember that you got to be the best businessman that you can be. And sometimes that means I'm not picking a side. I just want to be, I want to be Switzerland. I want to sit in the middle and be Switzerland. And I'll do business with you if you want to do business with me. And I'm going to do business with you if you want to do business with me.
Right.
But we're going to work this out, because at the end of the day, we're all family, really, to be honest with you. Especially, I love how Harley Race told me that we're joining the circus. He said, "You're joining the circus, kid." He said, "Are you ready to join the circus? Because you're joining the circus, and we're all just a bunch of clowns."
Yeah.
And that's the truth of it. Is we all have drama, we all have things that go on in our life, but at the end of the day, we all got to have each other's back to make the circus run properly. So,
well, and to be honest with you, that's actually something that I told my wife recently, as far as what you just said about the drama. I'm, like I've been saying this whole time, I'm 43. I'm done with wrestling drama. And that's another reason that I'm starting to branch out more and go other places, because I'm done with drama, and it's, as far as, if places, if people don't believe in me and don't want to believe in me, that's on them. I've been busting my hind end. Like I said, I'm 220 pounds, from 150, 160. So I put on 60 pounds, and I'm not, you've seen me, and you can't really see me on camera, but I'm not talking about putting on a bunch of fat,
right. It's muscle.
Worked out.
Yeah.
And I've worked out in the ring. I've worked out with guys at seminars and things. I bust my hind end and go to seminars, and I'm learning from older guys. I've recently been riding with Bo and learning from him, he's helped me get booked places. So, I'm branching out and I'm doing things, and the guys that just don't want to see it, or maybe look at the past and like, hey, you know, that's what he was. Well, you know, stay in the past if that's what you want. But you know, I'm out here to wrestle, and you know, as far as I think, and from what people have been telling me, I've been having pretty good matches. So you know, I just posted today. I just posted the match of the week that I had. It was against the prospector Wes Barker. He's out of Canada. That he and I had at the Perry County Fair in Appalachian Mountain Wrestling. So, you know, and if you watch it, I think it's a heck of a match. You know, so, but you know, as far as the drama, I'm not begging people to be booked. I'm not, you know, I'm not, you know, going out and trying to you know, do the whole please book me. And I don't have certain ones that, you know, I think are just, oh, I'm going to put you at the top of the list and I'm going to do whatever I can to get booked. I'm just going to wrestle. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to travel and I'm going to wrestle and I'm going to do what I can. Don't worry, Tyler, I'm not hanging up the boots. Not that's not the plan. I'm just the only place that that I'm even hanging or taking an absence from is Smoky Mountain Pro. But you know, you mentioned it. You were talking about it. You know, Joseph. But one thing that I would say, you know, and I haven't mentioned it, but the owner of Smoky Mountain Pro, James Strange. I mean, him and Lisa they've made it to where I could do this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If they hadn't opened the school in Chucky, if they hadn't opened the school and moved it to Newport, and a lot of people don't realize what all they put into it. You know, they don't realize, you know, and I don't care how people feel or how people feel about, you know, them or feel about me, to be honest with you. But, you know, they have helped me get to where I'm at, and I appreciate it. You know, and I'm going to help them at Smoky Mountain Pro. Even if I don't go back, I'm still going to help them. I'm going to share the shows. I'm going to, you know, do whatever it takes to help Smoky Mountain Pro, because those 12 years have helped me, and I appreciate those. So I'm going to do what I can to help.
Well, they've helped everybody, including the other owners, Ricky Morton and Kerry Morton and them. They've helped everybody inside the business, whether they realize it or not. I mean, you don't realize the psychology that goes into it and how they help you inside the ring, how they help you outside the ring, promo work, everything. And then to have great people who come from true wrestling backgrounds and major wrestling companies come in and try to work with you and help you in all those areas as well to exceed. You know, Aaron Stevens said it best. He said, if you want to make $1 million in this business, you got to get with somebody who's made $1 million in this business. And that's really what it is you have to learn where your camera angles are, who it is, where they're going to be at, and how to talk to them properly and how to move in it. And Jeff, I think that you have got that pedigree to make $1 million in this business. You've got the pedigree to go as far as you want in this business. Hell, Matt Bowens even came in here and asked if you were booked this weekend. He's looking for somebody like you. So, I mean, that should tell you something. At SPCW, he's ready and willing to work with you. And so there's many people that are going to be like that, willing to work with you because they know who you are. They know what you bring to the table. They know who you were trained by. And you have to be willing to open that door. And it's like I said earlier, you got to be Switzerland sometimes. I don't care if we've got a feud over here or a feud over there. If the money is green and we can work, we're going to work together and we're going to make it happen. So.
Absolutely. Matt, as far as your question, I'm not booked to wrestle if you're talking about the 5th. The 4th, I'm trying to keep open for me and my wife. But if you're talking about the 5th, I'm not booked to wrestle. I've only got the 3rd this week, honestly. But you know, if you want to, if you're looking for somebody, I'd love to come in. So if you want to message me and let me know. So
absolutely. And we'll keep that open. And Jeff, you mentioned earlier that you're going to be at Appalachian Mountain Wrestling, and that's going to be coming up this coming week, correct?
Yes, sir. This will be, let's see, July the 3rd. It will be, yeah, you're pulling it up. It's the, I can't remember which fair it's going to be, but it's July the 3rd, and it's going to be in Kentucky with Appalachian Mountain Wrestling. Hang on a second. I've got a.
You're good, man. No problem. Take your time. So, and we know that you're going to be having some fun there, but are you booked anywhere else?
Are you talking about this weekend? Or are you
Anytime.
talking about period? Oh, so I keep my schedule pretty full. So next weekend, July the 11th, which is Friday, I'll be with Resolute Wrestling in Crossville. Saturday, I'll be first of all, I'll be at the Summer Bash with Southern States Wrestling. I'll be wrestling there at the Gray County Fairgrounds for the Summer Bash, and then I'm going to drive down and I'm in Mountain City to wrestle as well. So, just trying to stay busy. The 19th, I'll be in Montvale, Virginia with Pure Pro Wrestling. Like I said, just trying to stay busy, man.
Tyler, Appalachian Mountain Wrestling is stationed in Hazard, Kentucky. That's normally where they're at, but they run Shepherdsville and run the areas around Lexington as well. So that's awesome that you're booked and that you've got everything going. So if you're wanting to, if anybody out here wants to reach out to you, Mr. Klepper, how can they do it, sir?
The easiest way is to message me on Facebook. I get those most often. I do have an email, which is Jeff Klepper Pro. But I don't use it as often, and the reason is because I don't have the notifications for it turned on my phone, because I have my school email where I'm a school teacher. I have it that blows my phone up as is. So, but I do have my Facebook, so that's the best way to contact me. If I do ask for people, if they do come on my page and tell me about a promoter or somebody, don't tag them because I know that bothers promoters. Just let me write them. I'm trying to get into Georgia as well. So, if you guys know any promotions in Georgia, I'm trying to get booked down there as well, because I'm trying to at least get into the area, out more into the area around me. I've wrestled in Mississippi, Georgia before. I've wrestled in North Carolina a lot, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, West Virginia. So I'm trying to get at least in that area. So, if you know any promoters and you want to message them to me, I'll try to get a hold of them. So, Tyler, if you know that promoter's name for that company that you put, if you want to hit me back with it, that would be great. But I am about to go to South Carolina. I've already talked to promoters. He's just getting past July 4th is his show, and or the next show, and they're trying to get past it, and then he's going to give me some dates. So they run every Friday, so hopefully I can get down there quite a bit as well. So
awesome. Well, Jeff, that's just about all the time that we have for today. I want to thank you for coming on and being with us today and taking the time out of your busy day and busy schedule to be here. It means a lot to us here at Wrestle Talk to know that you're coming in, and we want to help you any way possible. I'll get with you after the show, and I'll kind of help you with some promoters, and that way you can reach out to them in Georgia. I know a couple that are down there, and also a little bit closer towards the Georgia line here in Tennessee that work hand in hand with RCW and 12 Gauge Promotions and different places like that. And we'll get with you there. But thank you so much for your time today. Do you have any last words for anybody watching out there?
The main thing that I have to say, number one, I want, if he's still watching, I want everybody to please remember TKO tomorrow morning at 7:00. The surgery that he's talking about having is not, it's not something that is just like, an incision to the finger or something like that. I mean, he's having a pretty serious surgery. So if you guys don't care to keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Also, if there's any promoters out there, if you want to contact me, just message me. As well, to the young guys that are out there that are just now getting started. Guys, I would say, keep busting your honey and keep trying, keep getting better. If you have the opportunity to train, make sure you go in and train, do it all you can. There's some great guys out there, some of the ones that Smoky Mountain Pro has, Devon Belcher, some of those young guys, Primetime Dugat, some of the guys that I've been wrestling with lately at Smoky Mountain Pro that I absolutely love, being in the ring with, because they're the future. Evan Golden, haven't had a match with him just yet. We've had battle royals, but not had a match. But I'm looking forward to when I can. But I'm telling you, that kid right there, he's the future. He's you're gonna see him on the big time one day. So Casey Kazana and those guys, all of those guys that are at Smoky Mountain Pro, I appreciate every one of them. They've made me feel like family. It's just, like I said, some things I got to think about. So,
well, take your time and come back when the time is right. You always have a home at Smoky Mountain Pro. You always have a home right here at Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. If you have any information that you want to share, just reach out and we'll gladly help you share that information, Jeff.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today on Wrestle Talk with Arabbidb3aver. And remember, you guys heard it right here first.